Hi coloring friends, welcome back to a new episode of my update videos. First of all, I want to chat about a few things, maybe show you a few things before we get into the coloring snippets basically. Yesterday I actually watched the video colored by Maya. I love her channel. She is the VIP lady like I am, and she was in Las Vegas at her parents' house, and it was a vlog. She was showing like all the pages that she had worked on there. And she was also talking about that just recently she is enjoying to work in one and the same book and just get started a bunch of pages. And how was she calling it? Love bomb? Something I can't remember. She had a word created for it. And yeah. I found this very cool because it was the same for me actually. I also got started a bunch of pages in this book, and which I want to show you now. And I also wanted to get started a couple of pages in some of these books here, but I restricted myself and limited myself because I said to myself, I cannot just start a bunch of pages in a book. But since I saw her comment about it and she's also going to make a video about it, it will be very interesting because it's the same that I feel. It's usually because of YouTube that I think that I cannot stick to one book because I want to have a little bit of variation for you. But just now in July, I actually, I want to do it very stress-free, relaxed, and just do whatever I want to color. So because I'm coming right out of a coloring slump, and so this will be just very relaxed, and I do just what I feel like. And so now let me show you what I have done in this book here. So this is Fairy and Fantasy 5 by Christine Karen, and I have only one completed page in this book. And now I think I have like 5 started pages. So this was the page that I actually wanted to have finished for June, but I didn't manage to color all the little things here. So I plan to finish this one in August, hopefully. July is almost over, and yeah, I want to color some other things. But yeah, hopefully this I can finish in August. But yeah, you can see it's a very beautiful one. And I personally, I really like to flip through my books, even if they are just started pages. I enjoy it. And then I had started this background. This was just a quick distress. Oh no, it was not distress. It was just an ink background with some pigment inks because I wanted to try out a fireworks background actually. So I just needed a night sky, and now the fun part is still waiting for me to be done, like a fireworks and some atmospheric lighting here in those houses, which I might do with alcohol markers maybe. Actually, I have already colored this page on a PDF print, but I just thought this page was perfect for my fireworks idea. Then here's the only page that I have finished so far. So then here's another page. When you've seen my plans video, then you know that I was really drawn to this page here and really wanted to color this one. And actually I wanted to limit myself and say, no, I won't start another page. But then I just said, why not? Why not? And this eye makeup and hair color combination, I have also recorded for you. It is in this update video. So if you like this and if you're into portrait coloring or Christine Karen coloring, I have this color combination for you. So you could follow it as well if you wish so. And then I have another page here. This is also newly started. And yeah, this was one that I actually wanted to color. And I absolutely enjoyed to do the background again. As you can see, it's quite colorful and very soft. I really like it. And I also have in this video how to color this dandelion here. So if you like this, stay tuned. It's in this video as well. And basically, this is actually the technique from Helen Elliston. Very simple technique. And I just enjoyed it. But I was inspired actually by Olivia Colors because she had some dandelions on her Patreon. She did it a completely different way. Also looked very stunning, but I found this just easier. But maybe I will try out her technique as well, because it looked like fun. And then I have this whip here, and this I had actually started in the last winter season, so I think it was last year in December or so. And yeah, this is just waiting for me to get finished. I mean, I could technically try to finish it in July, but let's be honest, July is over now. So yeah, this will wait for me for the next winter, I think. Yeah, but as you can see, just a bunch of whips, and I enjoyed them all, and I enjoy to look at them all, and I'm inspired to continue all of them. So why not? It's a lot of fun. I want to quickly talk about Mythographic, Joseph Kattenbang Mythographic books. I had the whip in the aviary, which I wanted to finish. It's here. And if you follow my channel, then you know that I struggle a little bit with the Mythographic paper, because I find that it is too smooth for pencils, and I have troubles to find a pencil that I enjoy in this book. So I had colored all of these flowers, and then now I continued and went ahead and colored all of these flowers here. And I think that these look actually much better. What I did an alcohol marker base here, which I haven't done here actually. And then I went in with my Chroma Flow pencils here, which I think they work very nice on this paper here. At the moment, I'm using the Chroma Flows on every paper that I use, just to test them out and see how they go down on the paper. On the different papers, I must say. And yeah, so, I colored this. This was a lot of fun. And I just thought, why haven't I colored his pages earlier just with an alcohol marker base and then go over with pencils, because it makes everything much easier, obviously. And I thought I had found now finally the right way for me how to tackle these pages. But then today, actually, I have also whip in Voyage. This is an ugly one. I messed up one. Here. In this book, I had the background done. And then I decided that I wanted to work on these flowers here with alcohol markers. And that I even wanted to do a little bit of a blend to make it even more easier for me to go in with pencils. And maybe you can see it. It is very detailed, and it is very tiny. Tiny details overlapping each other. And then I remembered that was the reason why I thought this book is not really appropriate for alcohol markers, because alcohol markers bleed a lot. And here we have just very thin lines, very small details overlapping each other. It's even sometimes difficult to see them, to recognize them. And I struggled a lot with my alcohol markers here. I have to be honest, it was not a lot of fun. So I think it will be easier for me to go in with pencils now, but it was actually quite exhausting for my eyes, to be honest. So yeah, that was a reason why I remembered, okay, alcohol markers was not the perfect choice. Then I tried out some water-based markers here, but I don't like the feeling when they go down. And I think next I would try out maybe some Albrecht Dürer as a base for basing and see how I like that. And I also think that sometimes he adds some details, some small details, which are not necessary. For example, here were some details which I just blacked out, as you can see here. So I will go over with my background color and just get rid of it. Here was a small one, and here were some, I think it was supposed to be leaves, but you couldn't even recognize it. And it just made the page full and unreadable, and I just blacked them out, to be honest. So I decided to just black out unnecessary details here and make my life a little bit easier. Yeah, so that's my progress here. And so that's actually all for this intro. I hope you will enjoy this update video. I have a handful of different pages today for you, because I wanted these videos to be a little bit shorter. It's always very time consuming to work on them, because usually I have around 4 hours of footage which I need to go through, shorten it to 1 hour. And this time I had only 2 hours, so maybe we will see. I can shorten it maybe to half an hour, 40 minutes. We will see. Yeah, so enjoy this video and let's get started. So first let's get started with my quick tip, which I had mentioned in my last completed pages video. I'm showing it here. I have used actually a blue alcohol marker base and a yellow alcohol marker base in order to differentiate a shadow area from light area. And I have to say this worked really well. So I used one and the same color combination. And yeah, with those different marker bases, I was able to really create a more cooled down and not so saturated shadow area. And I think this effect looks very cool. So if you want to see a more detailed video on this method, please let me know, then I can film it for you. So then in the next clip, you can also see a page that I had colored or completed in my last completed pages video. Here I'm coloring the sunflower with some Prismacolors. And the special about this page was actually that I had used the Faber-Castell Pitt pens on top of colored pencils. And this intensifies the colors just quite a bit. For example, if, on some papers, the tooth is showing through, and then the color is maybe not as vibrant as it could be or as it normally would be. And then going with a water-based marker on top is actually a good possibility to intensify the colors. Here at the left-hand corner, these flower petals are colored with the polychromos, and I wish I had shown this technique on those flowers, on those petals, because you can see that these are actually quite pale. And at the end, they will look the same as all the other flowers, the same vibrancy, so you really can intensify your colors. And I think it would work most probably best on pencils that are not as pigmented, or as I said, when the paper is showing through, like in these double-sided books where we can only use our pencils. Yeah, it's a good possibility. And here I'm actually going on top with an acrylic marker. I like the ones from Ardix. And this page here, this is, by the way, this is from Lana Green Art, her Garden Lady book. A beautiful, beautiful book. But there are the pencil strokes showing through, kind of. For some reason, my pencils didn't really cover them up. And then I decided that I would just go in with my acrylic brush markers. I love these because these are not as opaque, and I find because they are not as opaque as, for example, a Posca pen, that they meld together with the coloring underneath. And I really like this a lot, so I really enjoy to work with them. Yeah. But let's get back to the Pitt pen technique actually. So since there was some interest in this technique, I think that I would like to do a standalone video on it. Something like how I use Pitt pens to color over pencils, or water-based markers to color over pencil or something like that. And here I'm showing actually the colors. I like the Pitt pens quite a bit because they have a good selection of colors, I think, and they go very well with the polychromos, obviously, because they have the same colors, not as many colors, but a good selection, I would say. And yeah, the Pitt pens are actually a pigment brush pen, and these are quite pigmented, which I like. And they are not water soluble once they're dry. That's also quite good, I think. But I think any water-based marker, I think many people also use the Tombow markers. I don't own. I mean, I have maybe a handful, maybe 3 Tombow markers, which I had actually also bought to try out this technique because, another good possibility to use them on top of your pencils is when the paper is fully saturated, but you still need to get some extra shadow in. You need to get some darker with your and your pencils won't do it. Then you can go over with just a grayish, a dark grayish water-based marker, for example Tombow or the Pitt pens here, or any other water-based marker would do the job, I guess. And then you can add extra shadow, actually. So this I have also used on the Wald und Natur page from Raiden Odachi. There I also used this technique to just deepen up some shadows in the shelf that I had colored. So it's a technique that I'm exploring. And the funny thing about it is that I did this technique as a kid, actually. Because as a kid, I can remember I had my pencils, but those, the kid brands, which were not pigmented at all. So they didn't provide the color that I was looking for. And those felt tip pens, they was just streaky. And so as a child, I already colored with the pencils first, and then to achieve the vibrancy and the color, I went over with a felt tip pen. So, and here it's a little bit wonky, but I'm showing basically the result. I don't know if it's really coming along, so I really need to film it in a standalone video and make sure that it is showing up. So, and then we have this little sequence here, in which I actually just show you some pages that I'm coloring right now. So I wanted to film a bit more, but in the end, it's just this little clip here. So I'm just showing you some of the pages. Maybe you have watched my coloring plans for July and August. And then here you can see a small selection of pages that I decided to work on. And I want to work on this beautiful mythographic page here. And I'm using drawing gum here, actually, and I use the one by Schminke. It's a tinted one. I love tinted ones because it's easier to see where you have applied it. And so I thought maybe it was interesting to you just to see how I apply it. I'm using silicone brushes because, you can just easily rub it off. Even if it is dry already, you can just rub it off. Like you could rub it off from your paper, actually. So a silicone brush is perfect. And I always put a little amount in a smaller jar so that I make sure that my drawing gum is not drying up, So that's also important. So in the next clip, I'm working in Fairy and Fantasy 5 by Christine Karen. And here I wanted to do the Dandelion. I was very inspired by coloring with Olivia, but I didn't follow her tutorial, actually, which she has color alongs on her Patreon. I find her images always fantastic. I don't follow color alongs, but I get inspired by her stuff. So here I'm following a tutorial by Helen Elliston. It is from her Colorist Special Effects number 4. So in this tutorial book, you could find this almost exact. Sometimes I usually just change things for my needs, so I added in maybe 1 or 2 colors, but and I'm not going to share the color combination here because it is obviously a tutorial of Helen Ellison that I followed here. So, but I can tell you that she uses a ginger root as a kind of one of those muddy green colors, which is just perfect. It looks very natural. Then some browns, and I just extend those kind of strings on which the pollen is sitting on. Yeah. And then in the tutorial, Helen Elliston was actually doing some zigzags with a white pencil. But for me, I found this step unnecessary, so I didn't do it a lot. And because I thought it was not very visible, she did it to make the flower look more fluffy, but I don't know, maybe there is an effect, maybe not. I tried it out here, but later when I colored some more dandelions, I just skipped the step. I thought it was not necessary for me. Then I went in just with a white acrylic paint pen, and then, yeah, this is a very simple technique. You just draw in a dot, and then you just extend some lines. First you apply a little bit more pressure, and then you release your pressure to get a thinner line. And this makes this kind of like, it looks a little bit like a star, doesn't it? So yeah, that's the whole technique here. So very easy, quite fast. And then you just repeat the step all over until you have enough. And another thing that I did once this was actually done, I wanted to, cover up the lines. So I went over with some strokes and some dots to make it more full and more fluffy actually. So yeah, but I definitely leave enough space so that some of those shapes here are visible, because I think they really look like poppy shapes actually, those little pollen things. So yeah, quite cool actually. I think at a later point I definitely going to try out the tutorial by Olivia Colors as well, because it looks like a very fun technique. It also looked very fluffy and nice. You couldn't recognize the single pollen like here, but the overall look was also just very nice. And she uses my favorite colors. She uses also acrylic paint pens, which I always think is a lot of fun when we can include some mixed media techniques in our coloring. Yeah, because it just brings a little bit of variation in the process, and it's just so nice. However, when I did this tutorial from Helen Elliston, I really thought I should do more of her tutorials, because they are so beautiful. They're so beautiful, but most of the time I'm too lazy to follow a tutorial. I just want to color. But I really thought that I should give it another try and just, try out a few of her tutorials and show those books a little bit of love. I mean, I got them, so I should use them. And maybe, usually you can learn a little bit of it. You will remember a little bit of it. Maybe not the exact color combination for the next time, but maybe the technique. And that would be good. So, yeah. So then I'm also coloring in those little flying pollen here, just with a little bit of a white acrylic paint pen and a little bit of this green ginger rooty base. Maybe it was even brown. Yeah. I think it's ginger root and maybe brown or so. Yeah. And that's the result. This is how my dandelion looks. And I think it looks very nice. I really like this look. I think it's really effective, very easy to achieve, and a lot of fun. And I'm totally into dandelions now. So yeah. So here is the next clip. I'm still working in Fairy and Fantasy 5. In the beginning I told you that I just started a bunch of pages in the same book because I was just enjoying it, and I haven't colored a lot of Christine Karen this year. So quickly, I'm starting here with a white pencil in the corner of the eye to really, preserve this area for highlight. And then I'm blending in the colors here. So I'm using the light green here to get started. This is one of the lighter colors. And I want to have an eye makeup which is kind of a turquoise green, going a little bit of a icy blue for the highlights, and then violet in the shadow areas. I find this looks just very magical, and is just beautiful for a mermaid eye makeup. And this page here, it just has the perfect eyes to do really a intricate eye makeup, because you can see the eyelid, where you can put the eyeshadow on, which usually we don't see it that much. And then but this page is just perfect to put on eye makeup because of the way that the eyes are drawn, and also because it's just very magical. And I think this gives the page so much more color. And try it out if you haven't. So, and I just like to take my time, especially on small areas that I enjoy to color. And eye makeup, I really enjoy to color and put in a few different colors. So this is blue slate here for a little bit of a shadow blue, and which will blend in the violets then a little bit later. And I'm just moving my page here a little bit. I can remember when I was a child, very young actually, in the art class, the teacher got very mad at me because I moved my page so that it was easier for me to draw a line. She said she can't do it on her blackboard, so I'm not allowed to do it either, which is total nonsense. I would say always move your page in the direction that it's most comfortable for you to do your strokes. It will, you will have much more control. It's more fun, and why not on earth? Why not? So just go for it and do it. So here I'm going in with my violets. This is the new violet color, because my old ones are just very small, almost used up. So, and the new replacement colors, they are quite similar, a little bit more muted, but very similar. I can totally replace my old one with those new ones, and the effect will be the same. Going in with violet blue here for the darkest shadows. This I'm using very sparingly, just to give kind of like an eyeline look, so to speak. Just, contrast. Contrast is always the key if you want to make something pop. So I can just repeat myself. Try to go for some contrast if you want to go the next step in your coloring. And don't be afraid, just play, have fun. We have so many pages to color, so plenty of pages to play. Maybe not get started on your favorite one, obviously, So I think I'm almost done with her eye makeup here. I think I will also write it down in the information box for you, so it's just easier for you to grab the colors and to write it down if in your notebook, if you want to try it out just later or so. So, and then I'm also having a little clip of how I started to color her hair. This is in a speed up, and I'm using just basically the exact same color, starting with the lightest color here. It was cloud blue, I think, and then blending in the violet. I'm leaving out the greenish color, so I didn't want to have the turquoise green, just the blues and the violets, but the same colors that we have used in her eye makeup basically. And because it will make the look of the hair and the page very cohesive, and it's also very magical. I mean, we have a mermaid here, so we can go a little bit crazy, do some fantasy hairs, which is just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It doesn't need to be always realistic. I mean, there are people who have violet hair, so I mean, that is realistic actually, isn't it? Just doing the violet hair here, and the highlight section with the blues. And this will look very magical actually. So let's just wait a second until this clip is done. So And then I'm actually showing you the whole result of this hair color combination. Once all the hair is colored in with those colors, it looks like that. It looks fantastic, I think, really. So, and then I want to continue my page in Kirby Rosanna's Dark Fairy Tales. And I'm working on this tower here with my Neo Color 2. And the color combination that I'm using here is basically from Fossil Fay 88. It's more or less her color combination. I'm using just one of the greens that she had because I thought it was enough. But let me quickly tell you the color combination. So it's beige. And then I've got olive. It's olive green, I think. Then I've got a raw umber. And I have a gray. And this is dark gray, actually. So those 4 colors I'm using. And you know, I really love the channel of Fossil Fay 88, and I'm very sad that she is, so silent, that it's so silent on her channel. Basically, she's not coming with new videos. It's a pity, really, because absolutely I loved it. And she still has some great color longs there. And actually, as I picked this color combination up on one of her color longs in a Kirby page, she uses it mainly when she colors like ruins, where you have this weathered stone with some moss, and that's actually when it looks best. So this is more like a warm gray with some greens in it, and not this dark, cold, bluish gray. I think I do need to find a combination for that as well, but I love this combination especially on gravestones, so where we have a little bit of a more detailed stone actually. On this tower, I have to admit, it was not that perfect. I think that I still need to go in quite a bit with my pencils and work out some of the details, because in this book the detail is just so fine that I think I really have to go in with some pencils here and just work it out a little bit more. But I do have a good base with this, and so that's all that counts, actually. So, and I think I want to say goodbye to you already. The video will be over in a couple of minutes. And so I haven't done a coloring update for a while, and I don't know if this is still my thing, because actually it always takes me so long to work on it, you know. It's quite some time ago that I have recorded this actually, and so it feels rather old, to be honest. So it just takes me too long to do those voiceovers for some reason. So we will see. We will see. I still have so much stuff recorded that I would need to create a video out of. So we will see. We will just see what happens. Now comes my favorite season: autumn, fall, Halloween. I can't wait, and I also would love to color more from this book here in this season, so I really need to finish up this page here quickly, so that I can finally do a second page. And I think it would just fit this season, the next season, I mean the Halloween season, so well, because it's quite dark actually, quite dark and sinister. So I wish you all happy coloring and have a good day. I hope I will see you in my next video. Stay tuned and see you. Bye.
There's a jungle out there, you know, baby, let your love run wild, wild, wild. You're just an